And this is the southern tip of mainland Japan. Just arrived on Yakushima. Nice 2-hour ferry ride.
This is our van that we're going to be sleeping in the next 3 days. Or 2 days, I think. It's checking Justin's international driver's license.
New Jersey.
New Jersey. Hi.
New Jersey.
Hi.
New Jersey ってどこ?
Next to New York.
This car is called Bungo. And right here is Tegan's seat. I'll be sitting in the middle. So Justin and Tegan will be living large.
Yes.
So we're renting shoes right now, and the lady who works here is holding onto Tegan for us to try on shoes, and this other lady just walked in the store and she's showing her off. Hi! We ride together, we die together. But seriously, we might die. Tegan, are you excited you get to face forward in a car? Alright, we're on our way to the trailhead. It's been a very enjoyable ride, although a little intimidating because there's a lot of drop-offs. But thankfully, there's some barricades between us and the cliff. Alright, so we're on a hike today. I'm sure I'm going to botch this name, but we believe it's pronounced Shiriatani Unsuiko.
We're pretty close.
Close enough. There's 2 different courses. We're going to try to do both of them. It's about maybe 5.5 hours. We're hoping to do it a little bit quicker than that, but it's a little tougher to do with the baby. I'm also out of shape, and I'm also a little scared. There's monkeys here on the island. Not supposed to be in this area of the hike, but it could be. And there's also poisonous vipers. Also not supposed to be around this area, but on the island. So I'm looking where I'm stepping and a little nervous about it. Justin's totally fine, but Tegan doesn't know any better. What are your thoughts?
2 out of 3 of us are good. This is one of the rainiest places in the world. So we're, I think, pretty lucky to have a day like today. There's not a cloud in the sky and it's really nice out. The sun's out, but you know, we're in the shade so far for the whole hike, and I think for most of the hike we'll be in the shade, and it's like a really comfortable temperature. Perfect hiking weather. And tomorrow we have the full day on the island, and we're gonna drive around and just scope out some viewpoints and just kind of take the day leisurely driving around. And it's also supposed to be really nice then. So both of our days here, no rain in the forecast, so I think we're pretty lucky for that. So we've reached our first destination point on the hike. This is called Yakushima cedar. It's a cedar tree that's 3,000 years old and 8 meters in circumference at the base.
Hey, dude.
And by the way, we just read a note that that cedar tree is one of the 100 biggest trees in all of Japan.
Ah! Oh, how pretty.
So this part of the hike here is part of the Kusagawa sidewalk, and about 300 or 400 years ago the Shimazu clan, they came here and they ordered the island people to carry out shingles, I guess like wooden roof shingles, and they collected them as tax, and this sidewalk here is what they built to do that on. So this is the original sidewalk that they built. It says it's 300 to 400 years old, and it says that it is prepared very well. Although compared to the wooden walkways we were walking on the last section of the hike, this is a little bit more rustic. But that's fine, I'd actually prefer this. So yeah, this is a historical trail in Yakushima.
It's a cool looking tree. The trail just went through it. With you standing next to it, it gives some really good perspective of how gigantic this thing is.
It's pretty huge. If the other one is 3,000 years old, this one has to be at least that. This is the most famous section on the Shiratani Unsuikyo hike. This is the moss forest. Obviously everything is covered in moss, hence the name. It's about 1 kilometer long, so it's not like just this section here. We've been walking through it for about half an hour so far, and it's really nice. This was the inspiration for a film called Princess Mononoke, which is an anime film. I know pretty much next to nothing about anime, but I've at least heard of that, so I'll claim to fame for this area.
Just drive by. Whoa! Tegan, did you see that? That's your first monkey. Actually, that was the second one we saw. So we're car camping as a family tonight, and we're making fish and veggies and noodles. And Justin insisted on making noodles, even though we've eaten noodles every day of the trip. And of course, I'm a little perturbed because the noodles that he wanted to make and did make ended up using a lot of water, and now we don't have enough water. So in order to get more, Justin left with the car and left Tegan and I here in the middle of the camp next to an area that has high grass and trees. I'm a little scared of monkeys and snakes. I'm all down with car camping. In fact, I really enjoy it, but I don't know, I just don't like being around an area that has poisonous snakes and monkeys that are highly intelligent. So we're cutting up some veggies now and hoping that Daddy will return very quickly. So right after Justin left, I noticed some lights over there, and I convinced myself it was lights, not eyes looking back at me, but it's no longer there now. So they were eyes looking at me. Well, it's morning time, and we had our first night in our van, sleeping. Tegan did great. We all did great, right? You liked it? Yeah. So this is our campsite. Ocean view campsite. Very nice. Yesterday we had a nice view of the stars. What are you making today, chef? So last night Justin cooked a veggie seafood stir fry. It was exquisite. I think it was one of the better meals of the trip.
Okay, so today is our full day in Yakushima. We're just going to drive around the island, the whole island. This is our first stop. It's called Pillow-Shaped Lava Fields. Definitely some lava rock here, but I'm not really seeing any pillow shapes. I don't know where they're getting the name from. Although they do use some weird pillows in the tent.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you can't remember what side of the road to drive on when it's one lane.
Yeah. Just the hat and socks.
So we're now at Toruko no Taki waterfall. The viewpoint itself is not spectacular. We're kind of like way back in the woods here. The name, it says, is from a local dialect here in Yakushima for a word that means roaring.
Tegan gets really excited sometimes and kicks her feet. That's how we lost a pair of socks, because she kicks her feet so much and then her socks come off. Right, baby? She littered in Japan. Tegan, are you excited to see the waterfall? How excited she is. And she should be, because this is pretty damn sweet. Oh my goodness. Wow, that looks fake, doesn't it?
Oh, I have it on here. Senpyro. It's called Senpyro no Taki waterfall.
Do you want to talk about it?
No Taki.
No talkie?
We're now in the town of Oneida, and we just drove to the end of the road. We were hoping to get a seashore view, but there's a giant hotel blocking the way. So instead we had to settle for that. So in Japanese grocery stores, they have a lot of instant soups, and I like it. This entire side of the aisle for all of your soup needs. Amazing. That's what we've been eating for breakfast.
They have like the whole fish packaged up. And usually by us it's just like, you know, sliced and cut up, ready to go. You don't have the head and the eyes, but they're all about that here. Like this one, it's just splayed open. We got a banyan tree here. I love this tree. So you can see the roots actually come down. And then they go into the ground there as a buttress for the tree. There's Justin underneath this other banyan tree. This one is just gigantic. This thing is just gigantic. Oh my goodness.
So we're not making much progress because there's so many awesome places to stop for photos. Watercolor here is really nice. I wish we had time to swim. And not to mention clothes to swim in and towels to dry off.
So nice.
It doesn't feel like Japan here.
No, it doesn't.
It feels more like Hawaii.
Mm-hmm. Feel the same way.
Both for the look of it and just also the like culture of it, kind of. There's like not that many people. Like I keep forgetting that there are Japanese people everywhere.
Yeah.
This is the Okana no Taki waterfall, and it's ranked in the top 100 waterfalls in Japan.
Wow, look, Teak. You like it?
So we're now on the Saibu Forest Path, and this is the most renowned spot of the island. It's a national park. There are macaques everywhere. We've already seen quite a few. Oddly enough, they seem to stay concentrated to this one area of the island, and sure enough, as soon as we entered the park, they were there. Although we haven't seen any since that first little batch.
Yeah. But there was about like 20.
Not sure what we would do if the bus was coming the other way.
Yeah, this is narrow. I'm happy that there's a metal guard there. Oh, and there's no metal guard here. But there is there. Alright. Oh, there's the monkey. Hello.
So we just pulled up to this. There's a flashing red light with some words that we of course can't read, and there's another car stopped. So we're assuming, since this is a one-lane road, there's some oncoming traffic, but it could also mean the road collapsed and fell into the sea. We don't know.
I think he's coming over to us.
Konnichiwa. Yeah, do you speak English?
A little.
Little.
Lamb.
Yeah.
No.
No road?
Yeah. Go. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
wait,
like
wait for it.
yeah,
Okay.
red light. Okay.
Long time.
Oh,
Okay.
I don't know.
how
Okay.
long? How long?
20.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Okay, well we wait.
Are you from?
USA?
Yeah. Oh, holiday?
Holiday.
Holiday. That man was so sweet, sharing with us what was going on. Like, there was no need for him to actually come out of his vehicle to tell us. I thought that was very, very nice.
Maybe he saw in his mirror that we were non-Japanese and he thought, oh, they're not going to be able to read this sign. I better tell them what's the deal. So this car in front of us, while we're stopped at this random flashing siren light, it looks like he's got a plate of sushi on his dashboard. This is the reflection through his windshield, through the back window to us. We think he's just like cooking his sushi on his dashboard in the sun.
This bus came around the corner. So Justin moved the car back pretty significantly so the bus can move. A lady, though, came out from the bus and bowed before she walked over to the vehicle, which I thought was kind of cool.
But it looked like she bowed to the cars behind the bus.
Yeah.
So maybe she bowed because like the bus was going slow and like making it wait. Yeah, I need a fucking bow for backing up for you. Where's my bow?
Maybe they will. Let's see.
I just got a wave and a nod.
Wait, how come that car just went?
Well, I'm going if that car went.
He told us that we couldn't go.
Maybe the bus told to the car something, so... I mean, if he can get through, we can get through, so I'm going. And the car behind me went, too.
Okay. Hold on, let me put my seatbelt on. Oh, boy.
Oh, shit.
See?
How come all these Japanese people don't know what the sign says? They have an excuse. In order to rent a car in Japan, they're very strict. You have to have an international driver's license. And I've driven in a lot of countries before, and I've never needed one. Some of them, like, officially you're supposed to have one, but they've never asked for it. You just show your normal driver's license, and that's always good enough. But Japan, you actually need it. But it's bullshit, because in order to get an international driver's license, in the United States, what you have to do is go to AAA. They're the only agency that's like authorized to deal with it. And you literally show them your driver's license, pay them, and then they give it to you. There's no tests, there's no like exam or driving test or written test, nothing. So it's literally just like a way for somebody to make money. That's
AAA.
it. Yeah, in the United States' case, it's AAA. I guess every country has like their equivalent.
Some deer.
When we were on our hike, we were about 5 minutes into the hike, and I was like, Kristen, there are no monkeys on this hike. Stop being so much of a scaredy pants. And within like 5 minutes of walking, we heard like rustling in the leaves, and it was deer, but I actually did think it was monkeys at first.
Yeah, I did too. I was reading that apparently macaques recently have been having interspecial sex with the deer. So just because we saw deer doesn't mean that there wasn't a macaque around.
Wait, I thought they did ride the deer, but
They do ride them, but there's also been several instances of them having sex with them. They ride them, and they also ride them.
So we drove out on a little half a kilometer offshoot of the main road, and we are approaching the Yakushima lighthouse. So the lighthouse is slightly disappointing. It's kind of cool. It's a lighthouse, I guess, but you can't go inside. The view sort of from the lighthouse isn't very good, but we do have a good view of the coastline along the side, so I guess that makes it worth it. Oop.
So we found our second car camping spot. It's alongside the road over here, which isn't ideal, but what is ideal is this. Whoa.
There is an actual like posted campsite around here, and we drove up the driveway that supposedly led to it, but it was just this like abandoned kind of like dilapidated building house with like empty cans and bottles everywhere. It was really weird looking and very un-Japanese looking.
Yeah.
It looked like it was from like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, don't say that. Because it's like 2 minutes away.
So we didn't camp there because there was nowhere to camp. Couldn't even see the beach from there. So we drove a little bit down the road and found this place. There was another place that we considered, but there was kind of like a fence that was between the parking area and the ocean. We would be like a little bit more spoiled for choices if we had a tent, but since we're car camping, we have to pick and choose where we can get an ocean view. But this will manage. Alright, so we walked down to the beach near our campsite. This beach here is kind of known in Yakushima for being a turtle nesting ground. It is out of season for it now though, so we don't expect to see any turtles. But we assume there's two signs up there with the triangles and there's like some orange flags in the middle. So we're assuming that's the actual breeding ground for them. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it in the camera, but there's like an island directly beneath the sun, and that's called Yakushima. And that is two active volcanoes. You can kind of see some steam coming up from the middle. You can take ferries out to that island, and they have like hot springs, and they're known to have lobster there, which is kind of strange because I don't think we've seen lobster anywhere else in all of Japan.
No. This is Tegan's first beach.
It is. First trip to the beach.
We were going to dunk her whole little body in the ocean, but it's a little too cold, so I think we're just going to do her feet.
She seems confused, but she doesn't hate it. She's not crying. I thought she was going to cry because it's kind of cold.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay, so we were at the campsite and we were taking everything out of the van. We set up the table. We were just about to start cooking, and these guys pulled up in these little mini pickup trucks, which are very common here. And they were telling us, no camp, no camp. To be fair, we just drove down the road and like picked a random spot that we liked because it was on the ocean. It wasn't an established campsite. So we said, okay, so where can we camp? Where can we have a barbecue? And they said, oh, like our place, you can come to our place. And anywhere else, pretty much, especially in Asia, that would have been a sure, obvious way of getting scammed. But here in Japan, it's a little different, so I kind of trusted him. So he took us to his campsite. We didn't know it was a campsite at first. He didn't really quite know what to expect. He charged us 2,000 yen, which is about like $18 or $19. But we have hot showers, we have a sink over there and like a little kitchen, we have bathrooms. It's also right on the ocean, there are picnic tables everywhere, and we're the only ones here, so it's actually not so bad. Tegan and I are enjoying a nice relaxing morning on the beach. And we hear this weird sound again, which you can hear all over the island. It's kind of like the Muslim call to prayer. Can't avoid it. Except we're not sure what the point of this is.
Slept really well last night. Justin's packing up our campsite. We were at that lighthouse yesterday. It's hard to hold the camera still when we're that zoomed in.
So we are on a trail to go see another waterfall. There's no sign or anything, we just found it on the phone. So it may or may not be here. It may or may not be worth it. It may or may not be far or near. We don't know. But I do hear some gushing water.
Huh, okay.
Well, at least we only had to walk for 30 seconds and not like 15 minutes.
It's a Tegan-sized waterfall. You like that, Teague? Want to go back in the ocean? Alright, we're now in the banyan garden. It's specifically called Shitako Gajumaro Banyan Garden. I'm sure I pronounced that perfectly. It's really nice in here. Automatically, as soon as we entered, there's a lot of shade, so it's pretty hot right now. It's nice to be in the shade. It's cool. trees. It's hard to tell like where this thing begins and ends and where it starts into another tree. All right, we're saying goodbye to the banyan garden with this last beautiful tree. This is insane. It's kind of hard to figure out how to film it, to be honest. Here's a limb and its support. Bye, trees. This is a huge building and it's only for parking cars. Look at that. Wow. Alright, here's our awesome hotel room. Here's our awesome little bug who's frustrated because I put her down so I can do this video. Hi, honey. Here's the world's best heated toilet. Bidet and all sorts of sprays and dryers. It's lovely.